apparently Owen wants to abuse me. Apparently, I don't know why.
So Mussy has never seen Grown Ups 1 or 2 ever, which are like the most basic comedy films that everyone sees when they're like 13 or 14. You've never seen them once.
Owen, so we've not recorded anything since I came back from Spain, and Owen made me. So we watched. Did we watch 3 movies? So we watched. What did we watch? We watched
Wedding Crashers first.
Wedding Crashes. Then we watched Inglorious Bastards, and then we watched another. We watched the third movie, which was
American Pie.
yeah. So Owen hadn't watched Inglorious Bastards, and I'd never watched.
No, I had watched Inglourious Bastards. I'd never watched American Pie.
Oh, was it? I thought you'd watched. I thought it was Django you watched, and you hadn't watched Inglorious Bastards.
No, I've watched that. Oh wait, no, I have watched that before. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, every time Owen always asked me a question about a movie which I haven't seen, and both times I went over there, he was like, "Right, you're watching this, and you're watching this," and every time it ends up leading to like a mild argument.
Wait, no, I was wrong. That was the first time I watched it, and then I watched it again a week after. That's why I was confused.
Okay, yeah, I was sure you hadn't watched it because I asked you what you thought after, and you were like, "Yeah, it was good. It's not as good as Django," which I watched Django actually on that first weekend I came back.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. I think Waltz might be better in Django.
I mean, I just prefer a Western anyway as well.
Yeah,
like that was just cool.
But yeah, these good movies. So Owen wanted to. I had no clue he was going to do that. By the way, as soon as I hit record, he was like, "Right, you have to let me abuse you now." So he jumped.
The reason I thought of that is because this weekend I've watched both Grown Ups 1 and 2 with Eleanor because they've just added it to Amazon Prime.
Oh,
so
I'm not watching.
I want to tell you to watch them, but I also want to watch them with you. So we might as well do it when I'm back.
Yeah, when Owen's back in Spain now, but when he is here, he will be sure to abuse me after we've watched those movies.
Or because we're maybe renting a new place, we might find out tomorrow. If I've got a place, then you should come chill and we'll watch them.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, you won't be. I mean, like you said, it's only an hour and a half drive, so it won't be the end of the world. So.
Yeah. And you can drive now, which you couldn't do for ages.
Listen, I've been able to drive for about 3 years before. I just never bothered.
No, that's true. I always thought you would just never learn to drive, and then you were like, "No, I'm just doing automatics."
Listen, the one time I went to see Owen since in Sheffield, that's where he's from. No, not from. It's just where he happens to live now. It took me like 2.5 hours to get there because the trains kept getting delayed and cancelled, and it was already meant to be like an hour 45. And then by the time I got there, it was the middle of the day, and because I went for something else, so I had to get changed. I got changed on a random side street out of my suit, trousers into jeans and a t-shirt.
Like, this cretin, when he comes to Spain, he's like, "I need to change my trousers," and we're like, "Well, we can't go into my building." Because we were basically sneaking him in to stay on a mattress on my floor, which I shouldn't be doing. So we didn't want them to see that he had a bag. So this cretin goes behind a dumpster.
So I give Owen my bag to take in, and I say, "Right, go on, take my bag." And then
go behind a dumpster of all places to get changed, and then you have people walk past you.
Like, I couldn't get changed for a solid 3 minutes after I got behind
the world is your bathroom.
Because people kept walking by. And I was like, "No, fucking just leave us alone, right?" And Owen's in hysterics because it's like, what are you doing? Like, you've been here 5 minutes and you're already causing some sort of grief.
Causing havoc. 5 minutes is all it took.
Yeah, that was a funny introduction, to be fair. Because the last time I got there, it was in the middle of the day and Owen had a class. But this time it was like, I think I got to you at like 7 or 8, so it was just straight to it and just some funny nonsense.
You just got all the students leaving their class and seeing a man getting changed behind a dumpster on the way back to their residence.
And the other funny thing was because like every time we were just sneaking, not even sneaking, we just had to like randomly make up some nonsense to talk about, so the people at the door wouldn't pay attention as to what was going on and didn't seem like it was dodgy.
Yeah, because the last time you came, we got back at like
2 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 2 in the morning, and he asked us if we're both students. So we were like,
Because I don't speak a lick of Spanish, like at all. I think I can say hello. Wait, what's hello? No, I can't even say hello anymore. I forgot what hello is. Hola. I think that's it.
hola, yeah.
Yeah. So I only know what vamos means because all the football players always say vamos. So yeah, that was a funny. So I just looked at him and I had to ask Owen after. I was like, well, "What did he say?" And he was like, "Oh, he's asking him for both residents." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he just asked again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny trip because I was there for a week this time as opposed to just 3 or 4 days. And we just ended up on top of hills and I was just smoking. It was a fun time. But anyway, I think we probably should talk about sports now, considering the fact we've just managed to occupy everyone's time for 6 minutes talking about my deficiency.
They loved it. They love it.
I think they do. Everyone who's ever said anything to me about it likes these opening segments. I'm just going to assume that they don't mind that it extended to 6. Mainly because it's me getting abused for my taste in movies and my actions when I go to a foreign country, but that's about it. So, the first thing we're going to open on, so we will open on football, because that's the shorter part of this, and it probably is the reason why a lot of you end up tuning in. I know some of you like them. I know a lot of you
That's
like
the only
basketball
thing they view. That's all they care about.
Apparently, but we are getting more views on the
swine.
basketball nowadays. No, listen, we are getting more views on the basketball stuff nowadays, so it's not the end of the world. Yes, so we're not stuck below the threshold now. But we'll start off on the football stuff. So Arsenal City. So there was a small phase where I think both of us had almost resigned ourselves to Arsenal winning, but then our hope was renewed, and I think last week we were both in a very good mood come 6:30 on Sunday afternoon, weren't we?
I have never, like, in however many years we've known each other, like a decade, never in that time have we both been rooting against a team so much as that, like Arsenal or OKC in basketball, but mainly Arsenal in football.
No, it's actually because so for all 7 years we were in school together, we were always trying to antagonise the others because naturally United, Liverpool, and then when it ended up being basketball, LeBron was facing off against the Celtics, so we were always arguing over that. And my blind faith in LeBron led me to somehow winning bets when he really had no business winning a series, and then come later on. Owen never liked the Clippers as much as I did, so he sort of had the Lakers going through anyway. But he wasn't necessarily... He was not happy at my unbearable nature after the Lakers won the title in 2020, because I came in with a... So for context, after the Lakers won that title, I played basketball on the Sunday that Game 6 was happening. And I went, and it was like 4 o'clock. It was maybe like 3, and it was about to get dark. And I went in a gym hoodie, which has been washed, and I thought, okay, the Lakers are going to win this, I'm going to drape this over me, and I'm going to take it into school tomorrow, because I'm just going to be unbearable. And I thought, I don't have any other hoodies, I have to wear this one to go and play, because all the other ones were in the wash. And so I ended up stinking it out because I'm playing, and then I come to school in my stinky hoodie, draped all over my shoulders, and you and Finn are incredulous at the gall that I even did this. So that was that in 2021.
And that was the time when after the Lakers won, you went, I don't want to ever hear anyone bring up the GOAT argument ever again.
My shameless... And to my credit, I have never entertained the discussion since with anyone in person, so it's fine.
To your credit, but it doesn't mean it's not still an argument.
I don't care, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about me. And I am the arbiter of this.
Go on.
So, and then in 2021... you would obviously Durant was back, and he was your object of rooting interest, and obviously I was still LeBron and Ben Simmons.
Durant was basically my interest up until I left with France, and then I just stopped caring about him after that.
After he got swept by the Celtics, and then he was just pathetic year after year, and then 2023, you weren't here again, and then 24, the Celtics were good again, and then I rooted for Luka in the finals, so even that was at a cross. And And then last year, Celtics, and I was the Lakers. So we've never been on the same side of anything. But now, right now, we are against Arsenal, and we are against... Even in football sides, it was like last year, Owain was rooting for PSG in the Champions League to win after they knocked out Liverpool, just to antagonise me, because he knew it would burn me.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, the Mbappe thing. Anyone who Mbappe plays, I root against, basically.
Yeah, just to spite me. But this specific year, with Arsenal and the Thunder, we are on the same side. So, yeah, it's quite funny. But, yeah, how the hell have we got here? With not with us rooting for the same team, but just Arsenal on the verge of bottling what really should have been a routine title.
It should have, but any other year, they would not even be in contention. You know,
It would have been last year.
apart from last year. But that's how crap the league has been recently. Like, if you had Klopp's and Pep's team at their peak, they were getting nigh on 100 points. What are Arsenal on? 70s?
Yeah, so
72? Something like that?
Arsenal can max out at 85 points, which will be the lowest tally that we've gotten since Leicester. So 2017, Conte's Chelsea won it with 93. 2018, City won it with 100. 2019, they won it with 98. 2020, you guys won it with 99. They won it with 86. So that's a bit of a low ball. 22, they won it with 93, because you got 92. 23, what did they win? I feel like they didn't break 90. But I might be wrong. And let's look. So 22, 23.
I mean, I was gone at that point, so...
Yeah, so 23 they got 89, and 24 they got 91, and last year you lot got 84, and the lowest tally since then.
And we did not play well for the last few games last season. Like, for the last 8 games, we weren't good.
Yeah, so City got 86, you guys got 84 last year, and right now Arsenal can cap out at 85. Realistically, they're going to drop points in one game, which means they're probably going to end up on 83 points. In at least one game.
I can see both City and Arsenal dropping points.
I think they both will. Arsenal have less business dropping points because the teams they play just aren't very good. What were your thoughts on the game last week specifically? Like going into
Right.
and then
So,
the game.
last week I just found weird from Arsenal. I'm glad they lost, but also, we haven't ever seen Arteta set up like that in a big game.
Not since they got battered by City to lose the title.
Yeah. And it makes no sense for me because it's like you want to play this certain style of football all year. And then when it comes down to the biggest game, when you're at the Etihad, when you can afford to drop, you can afford to sit back and play for a draw, and you should, realistically.
Yeah, because that would have ended the title. Not ended, but it would have really left them in a really good position.
If you're playing for the long game, you would have just play your game. This is how you've been playing all season. And it just makes no sense to flip-flop that in the biggest game of the year against City, where, yes, they were super positive and they were pressing high, but to me, it's just illogical. To play a certain way all season and then in one game that matters to just go, I'm on fire, we're going to be... First of all, that's just a terrible quote. I can abuse him all day long.
There were some... I try not to swear on here. But as Owen knows, I have a sailor's mouth. I curse like I breathe. I really have to make a conscious effort to not curse on here. I have some very abusive, non-sanitary thoughts on Arteta's specific schemes and motivation for big games, which are filled in mine and Owen's WhatsApp.
It was a super positive lineup, but then City were just a better team, and they have been recently. And regardless of whether you win the league or not, there's kind of going to be that resounding, yeah, but you couldn't get it done in the biggest game. So how much, are you really champions?
I think that it's... So first I'll talk about the scheme. So, I mean, as an individual game, they played well. Like, if someone had woke up from a coma and they hadn't seen Arsenal since 2017, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's about what I expect. Like, they play in the positive, they're trying to move the ball. Okay, a bit more set pieces than normal, and their squad's a bit bigger, but this is more in line with what they had in, say, when they actually used to win things. The players are clearly a bit worse, but, you know, they're in a position to do well, and Man City are the best team in the country, so fair enough. This is a perfectly fine team. But at the same time, when you're not used to playing that way, the legs go. So after 60 minutes, they just seem dead. Like, City were cruising, they were chilling, they weren't necessarily struggling with anything. Arsenal, obviously, they had some chances. It's particularly so Havertz had the header, Eze hit the post, they had a set piece which did hit the post.
They really should have won that game with the chances they had.
I think a draw would have been fair.
I mean, City did play well, but I'm talking about on the balance of the game, yes, a draw, but Arsenal had so many clear-cut chances that they just should have scored. Yeah. Like Havertz's header. Like, you need to score that.
That's the thing where quality just comes into play, you know? Like, ultimately, if you sign better players, you win that game, probably.
So, this is where I know you're big on, you know, you're big on talent, I'd say. And who won that game for City? Ryan Cherki and Haaland.
Cherki, Haaland, O'Reilly, and Rodri and Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, sorry. Rodri and Bernardo Silva as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're just a better team. Let's just forget points totals, whether Arsenal lifts the trophy or not. City are just a better team, and they trounced them in the cup final, and then they beat them in the biggest game of the year. So it's all good to sit there and say it's not over.
Arsenal's one goal came from Donnarumma doing what Donnarumma does.
Yeah, they shouldn't have even conceded.
Yeah, kicked the ball into Havertz's feet. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I think it's a difficult spot now for Arteta because, I mean, I think we're both in the same page that we both think they're going to lose this race, right?
It's tough because City have, on the balance of the fixtures left, I think City has a tougher run in. But I could see them both winning out and it coming down to goal difference. And if that is the case, then I mean I've contradicted myself there because I think they could both drop points as well. But basically, it could come down to goal difference, and if it does, I think City win.
I don't think this will go to the last day.
You don't?
No, I think this will be done in the penultimate weekend. I think this game will be done before a ball is kicked on that final Sunday. I also I think Arsenal are in line to drop more points. City don't generally lose games in run-ins. Like against you lot, they rattled off like 16 wins to close the year.
I mean, historically, Pep is, in crunch time, the best coach of all time in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, even in La Liga, like, his first 2 years there. No, I think... So his first year, he had something like 96 points, and Madrid had something like 92. And it was something similar the year after in Mourinho's first year. Like, the guy just manages to get players to win and win and win and win. And City have had tough games before and come down the run as well, and they would just smoke everyone. Now, this City team isn't as good as the ones from 2022. Their best or 2023. Their best player, who's not... No, Kevin De Bruyne is leagues and bounds ahead of Ryan Cherki. Raheem Sterling is better than Jeremy Doku. Riyad Mahrez, or whoever you want to have on the right in 2019 is still Mahrez off the... No, Bernardo was off the right. Whoever, Bernardo back then or Mahrez off the right is better than whoever you end up having, Savinho or Semenyo. Those tend to be Semenyo tends to be the starter, but I'm just using Savio as the other one. Like, those players are just better. Haaland can make up the difference because Haaland is leagues and bounds better than Aguero, and Haaland is just a monster. And he farms against these types of teams because all the criticism for him comes in the absolute biggest games, like teams where it's like a Madrid or There's a narrative that he struggled against Arsenal when he scores against them every single year, so I don't know where that's come from. But there's a narrative that he struggled against Arsenal and against Madrid, against some of the biggest games. So, yeah, it's...
What did you think about him and Gabriel?
What specifically?
Like, do you think Gabriel should have been sent off?
By the rule, yes, but for the game, no. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I agree. Like, it's too big of a moment to bring it down to that.
And Arsenal fans are convinced that the league hates them anyway. So, giving everyone the opportunity to complain about the referee making a controversial decision, as opposed to it just being about Haaland outdoing Gabriel on the day, I would have hated it. So,
do you think City's celebrations were too premature?
I think Pep is a very emotionally... He has a lot of emotional intensity.
Yeah, but I think he keeps his emotions in control better than Arteta does. I think Arteta looked like a mental patient the week before that game in his press conferences.
I'm saying on the pitch. Like, Pep has a lot of intensity when the teams are out on the pitch. Like, he's very prone to being a dramatic... Like, smacking his legs, going on the floor, smacking his head. Like, I'm surprised he's not slammed his head off a wall yet. Like, he's an entertainer. He's a showman. When we were talking about the Michael Jackson movie before we started recording, and Pep is the greatest showman of the elite coaches that we've seen when it comes to
Klopp.
Klopp's up there, but Klopp just makes everyone love him. Like, Pep is hilarious. Like.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it was premature because I think they knew how big it was, right?
I think as well all the players kind of saved it after the game because they came out and were saying about how it's not done yet. Like Haaland was saying, we know it's not done. And so Pep has been saying that as well. Like, he hasn't given them any fire. I mean, Arteta clearly has plenty of that anyway. But I started thinking, like, as I was watching the build-up to the game, I was like, this is how I know Arsenal are going to lose. Arteta looks like a mental patient right now. Like, I mean, he looks a bit unstable and insane anyway. I don't know how he was voted as...
Like, he looks unhinged.
I don't know how he was voted as the best-looking coach in the Premier League. It's clearly the Wolves manager. But that aside... it wasn't just Arteta. Eze saying in a press conference, when we win the league, everyone else is going to have to deal with that. And then they lose to Bournemouth and City in straight games. It's like, you just keep your mouth closed. You're a big club. You don't need any more. And you have a lot of hate online. You don't need to give people any more...
and all their players are chronically online as well.
Yeah, you don't need to give them any more ammo. Just shut up, turn up, do your job.
Like Saliba, Rice, Gyökeres, like all these guys, they're guys who are big pieces of Arsenal, and they're always spending time on the internet. So, and you can see it in the way they like Declan Rice.
Yeah, Gyökeres complaining about the pitch. Like, just shut up, and play.
Yeah, like ultimately, no one's going to care about that at the end of the season. And at that point, 4 second-place finishes in a row. It's going to be a problem. Did you watch the game yesterday? Or actually, no, don't.
No, I didn't watch them yesterday. Yeah. I watched the match of the day, but not their full game.
Yeah, I didn't watch the full game either. I was out somewhere, so I caught it after. I caught the highlights after, and it's like their players clear. Like Eze's ball striking is wondrous.
Yes.
But for the rest of the game, you shouldn't be in a 50-50 game with a Newcastle team who has nothing to play for.
And they were hanging on the edge from what it looked like for the second half.
Yeah. And I'm being 50-50 to say generous, right? So
because they don't put teams away.
Right. And it comes down to, I value players far more than you do. And you value players highly. Like, my view is like, if you just get elite players who fit together and you get a coach who doesn't actively be a hindrance, you can win. Mm. You think that has a bit more to do with your view?
I am pro players, but I also am more pro coach than you.
Yeah, I'm very much like, listen, just don't get in the way. Like, don't get in the way. The players fit together, implement some sort of structure, and they'll be fine. You don't need to micromanage the actions. But, this is like you just have to sign top players. You have to take a punt on some players who clearly have all-world talent. You can't take... Obviously, both of us watch First Things First, and Eric Mangini said the other day, I don't like overachievers in college.
I saw that.
Yeah. And it makes sense, because if you take a punt on talent, if you take a punt on a Rafa Leao, who is he's clearly his intensity isn't up to par, no doubt. But a guy who's that tall, who's that athletic, who's got that much gift technically and as a ball striker, just take a punt, 50 million euros, see what happens. They will sell. AC Milan want to sell. They view him as a problem at this point, so just get your hands on him. Stop taking these players from mid-table clubs and expecting them to make magic for you. Like Gyökeres, you're signing a striker from Portugal. Who's the last striker from Portugal to work out? Falcao? 15 years ago? Who else is there? Like, Jackson Martinez, he didn't work out. Darwin Nunez, he didn't work out. Victor Gyökeres, he didn't work out. Strikers from that league generally don't work out whatsoever. So, again, why are you signing players from there? You need to go out and spend the money. You clearly have the money. Go out and splurge it on Isak. Because ultimately, we disagree on how good he will come.
Isak scored yesterday. I thought you'd be happy.
But listen, I mean, you don't even have to necessarily go and get Isak, because let's say he's going to cost £150 million. Ekitike only cost 75, 80 million. Go out and get him. And okay, yeah, he's popped his Achilles now, but maybe that wouldn't have happened at Arsenal because the style, because he doesn't have to do as much pressing from the front over there, because they're happy to let teams necessarily come onto them a little bit more than the other. And say Liverpool is, even with their broken press. So, you can go get Ekitike, you can go get all these other players, and they simply choose not to. At the end of the day, your talent at the top of the pitch matters, and there's no amount of scheming that can override that. There is no amount of magic fairy dust that you can give. There's a reason why Arsenal needed to rely on Gabriel and Saliba to score a bunch of their goals, because in fact they simply can't score enough. So, yeah. And even then you have players that can play football, because look at Eze. Eze can play football, flat out. But you can't, because, he can only do so much as one player. So, prediction, who do you think? How do you think this ends up?
I'm going to go for City, because we're both desperately holding on to that. And I'm going to go goal goes down to goal difference, goes down to last day of the season, and City win on goal difference.
I too think it'll be City. I think they'll do it by 4 points.
4 points?
Yeah, I think
you're expecting Arsenal to draw twice?
Yeah. I think Arsenal draw twice, City win out.
Okay. Or, no, they'd have to draw twice, yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way it can happen, I think.
Yeah.
Unless City were to lose and then win out, but even then...
So who are they drawing against? West Ham and Fulham?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
Or maybe even the last day of the season. Like, maybe they draw to Palace, I don't know. But then it would be fun.
I could have City winning by 2, maybe. Maybe Arsenal do draw 1. But I think it goes down to last day of the season either way.
Let's see. I mean, we will have lots to gloat about if they do, because we started this in January.
I was going to say, in January we called this, after the United game.
When it seemed nailed on that they were going to win the league. We both acknowledged that they could still win the league.
This would be great for our take, repertoire.
Yeah, our take. We have lots of take equity in this.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, that's...
All 330 of you will bear witness to this.
Oh.
I think that's the number we're at. I don't know. Let me look.
330. Is that subscribers?
Yes.
Okay.
We value all of you. We don't have a lot of you. We have to.
We don't have much choice.
Yeah. But how many?
Most of them are just Arsenal fans who just abuse us in the comments.
331. We love all of you. Okay. Right.
Which makes it even more sweet, because most of them are Arsenal fans who watch our videos.
I think a lot of the viewers who are Arsenal fans, because Arsenal fans they live on the internet, so more so than other fan bases. So, right, to our to our less hate-fueled thing for now. The NBA playoffs.
No, it's not less hate-fueled.
No, because there are 16 teams and we don't hate all 16.
Well, I'm actually in quite a good mood because of how the playoffs is going, because it's all falling in my favour, which is
yeah. Owen's agendas are doing very well here. Mine's aren't, but my main one is doing very well. So, Owen, how do you want to run this? I'll give you the floor on this. You can go.
Let's just run through all the series. We can start with Lakers Rockets if you want.
Yes, very good.
I'll give you the floor and then I'll.
Yes. Listen, I did not think the Lakers could win this series. I thought it would go 6. I thought that LeBron would split the home games and then he'd win Game 5 at home, so they wouldn't get beaten 5. I thought Luka might try and go back for Game 5, but then get hurt again, and then the Lakers would still not winning Game 5 because it'd be an elimination game. They do the whole win it for Luka nonsense, and yeah, that'd be it. I thought they'd be done. I didn't expect much. I thought LeBron would put up fine numbers, but it wouldn't be. I didn't expect much because none of these guys have ever been top level players for. They've not even been a top 3 player on a team which had serious title aspirations, with the exception you can argue of Marcus Smart, who was just busy stealing shots off Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I did not expect much, and then I woke up on Game 1. I was like, what can they do here? Then I watched the game. I was like, well, that's interesting, but there was still no Kevin Durant. But there are some positives here because Şengün can't do anything. And like he's getting dunked on by, not dunked on, but he was just getting dog walked by DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes. And then you have Game 2 comes back, and it was funny. So I wake up at 5:30 sometimes to go to the gym because I'll go in the morning if I have to start work earlier. So I was in the gym watching the end of that game, and I had to control with every fibre of my being to not start hurling abuse at the Lakers when they were doing things I didn't approve of, or start screaming at the Rockets to do bad things. So I was just like, Jesus Christ. And in Game 3, it was, obviously that's the drama show of the series, but I mean, I'll start on the role players first. Like Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard have been wonderful. Like, every single one of the honestly, if you told me that Marcus Smart was going,
used to hate Marcus. You used to abuse Marcus Smart when he was on the Celtics
because he does dumb things, right? Like even so so when he
do you forgive him?
He's still thick.
But do you forgive him now?
Well, he's doing it for LeBron now, so it's okay. But Game 3, the shot where he got fouled on and he shot the 3 free throws. That's a dumb shot. But the Rockets did something even dumber in fouling him. Like, what are you doing?
It's Marcus Smart as well. Like, I know he's been shooting like his prime Klay Thompson this series, but he's not.
Yeah, like, he's playing fine, but there is no need for you to decide that, oh yeah, I'm going to foul this guy. What are you doing? Like, so... Yeah, and then Luke Kennard, he shot the ball wonderfully well, especially in the first 2 games. Like
also, to shout out another role player, Rui Hachimura.
I like Rui anyway because his style resembles Kawhi. He just has no.
He's just always been solid, but he
just has no bite to him. Like he's not like he. If you need 5, he'll give you 15. If you need 25, he's still going to give you 15. Like, with the right shots. Like, he's never going to really go above what he can give you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's solid, he's big, he rebounds decently, and, you know, he's a big body that you can throw at people. And he's always live. Like, he's not someone where if you run him off the 3-point line, then he's just spent for the rest of the game. And then LeBron. Like, this is the first time he's been healthy going into a playoff run in 6 years. So 2021, he had the ankle. 2022, obviously, they weren't healthy, but he had something wrong with his foot anyway. So it was good. They almost good at him, I was saying. 2023, he had the same foot issue. He had a tendon issue. 2024, he had a lingering problem. 2025, he tweaked that groin again going into the playoffs. And then, you know, like, none of them were serious, but they were lingering, right? Which is about what you'd expect for someone his age, especially after the Solomon Hill injury from 2023 onwards. But for him to be fully healthy and just backpack, like, in his own way. Like, he's not having to do all of the scoring. He's getting everyone else involved. He's getting people touches. He's making sure that everyone feels the ball and enjoys it and gets their time to work with the ball well. He's empowered every one of his teammates. Bronny being there for his 5 minutes a game or whatever gives him a bit of extra
Which
juice.
he outscored the Rockets bench in Game 3, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying that Bronny's some high-tier NBA role player, but...
Who cares? This man is running you down with his literal son scoring more than your bench. Like, it's just demoralising.
I think for him, though, it just gives him that bit of extra juice. Like, he sees his son next to him on the floor, and it's like, I've got to win this somehow. Like, I can't lose my playoff series. I can't lose the series with my son on the floor. So, yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed this. Like, I've told you for ages that I think going as far back as the earlier years when we started watching basketball, I wanted LeBron to play point guard. I've always wanted him to play point guard. I think it uses his mind, and he's the best decision maker, he's the best passer, I think, ever above Magic and anyone else, but that's a different conversation we don't need to get into right now. He's just ridiculous at what he does, and he's the best person to get other guys involved and empower them. So it would always annoy me. Like, I liked Westbrook, so I didn't mind him coming in, but it was obvious that he's not a better point guard than LeBron. In 2022 and 3, when you have D'Angelo Russell, it's all right, what's going on here? I didn't mind it with Luka, just because Luka is a genius, but at the same time, I have always preferred LeBron.
This is the best version of LeBron. It's what he can get the most out of. And this goes to today, if you're going to take one person, surround them with role players and say, take us on a deep playoff run, who do you have above LeBron? You have he's top 5 to do that right now in the NBA, and that's at 41 years old.
Yeah, because Shea is more like someone who can Shea's a guy who can help you put over the top. He's not someone who, if you just give him guys where he needs to create and do everything, he'd be able to do it. Jokic, when he's not against Big Daddy Rudy, and then Luka. Like, really, that's it, because Giannis can't do it anymore, as we've seen. He's missed the playoffs this year, and they weren't a very good team last year. Anthony Edwards can't do it. Steph can't do it anymore just because his body won't allow him.
And LeBron doesn't have the defensive holds of a player like Luka, because he can guard all 5 positions.
Yeah, especially in today's NBA, yeah, he can guard pretty much anyone that isn't over 250. Anyone that isn't above
7 foot.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's still, like, for the playoffs, he's still absolutely a top 10 player, regardless of the role. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. This is his finest series since the second round against the Warriors in 23. And it's arguably his best series since the 2020 finals. So, yeah, it was fun. Like, obviously, it's a bummer that Luka and Reeves aren't going to be healthy for the rest of this playoff. I know they're coming back, but they're not going to be healthy. You know, they're going to be there. But it was fun to see him get to do this one last time, because wherever he goes next year, he's not going to be able to do this. So whether it's Denver or Golden State, or he stays with the Lakers, or he goes back to Cleveland, whatever, and wherever he ends, or he goes with the Knicks, wherever he ends up landing.
This might be the last chance for him to just take a bunch of role players and.
This is the last time he'll be able to. This is the last time he'll be able to play this way, where he's basically Magic Johnson. So, yeah.
Which I mean, when I've been looking at player rankings all year, it's almost like this year the league just demoted him and was just like, yes, you're actually only a top 20. You're only actually a top 30 player. And whenever I see it, I always think, are we really like pushing him back that far? Because yes, he doesn't play the primary role that he used to. But part of that is just because the Lakers are trying to transition anyway because of his age. And it's like, there are not 10 other players that I would just give the keys to my team for one playoff run, even now. So I think it's been disrespectful all year, the noise around LeBron of like, he's not even top 20. It's like, he's very much top 20. He's probably top 10.
I think the thing is, because he's been so good for so long, and the league has been trying to... So the media have tried 3 times now. They've actually succeeded now, but this is on the 3rd time. But they tried 3 times to really push someone as the guy who is going to take over from LeBron when he's done. So first they tried it, as in like with a young player. This is not a star.
Yeah.
First they tried it with Ben Simmons. Because they put him on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They tried to do the same magazine. They tried, right? Ben was the most consensus unanimous number one pick in a long time that he just was. And it didn't work because he refused to shoot, right? Whatever. And he's a mental midget. Zion Williamson, they tried with him. We lived through that. We saw
Also,
it.
Bronny has more playoff points than Zion.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts. But they tried it with Zion. Neither of us were particularly high on Zion relative to everyone else.
He's a foul, isn't he?
Yeah, we both thought, okay, he's probably going to go number one, but Ja might be the more NBA-ready player. So we both sort of had that take. You were higher on Ja than I was coming in.
And then he just ran off trying to shoot people and ruined his career.
Yeah, he likes making gun fingers. It just ruined him.
Like, just grow up.
Yeah. Either way, Ja worked, but either way, Zion was the guy they tried to push, and that didn't work. Obviously, in terms of stars coming into the league, they tried it with Durant, didn't work. They tried it with Steph, didn't work. They tried it with Giannis, didn't work. Giannis is the guy who probably got closest, but his insistence on playing like a LeBron/Magic guy is what really did him in. And then they tried it a bit with Jokic, but they just couldn't do it because
he didn't want to.
Yeah, Jokic didn't really like. Luka's probably the one they had the best bet with, and the media doesn't really like him, which is odd. I don't know why. Like everyone's just been attacking him non-stop, and I'm just like, he's actually pretty
because of his attitude.
Yeah, he does whine a lot. So
it's the same with Jokic. They both have a bit of a lazy. I know they care about basketball, but they do have a bit of a lazy attitude in general. Which is why everyone loves Wemby now, because we've been sick of dealing with these superstars who seem like or act like they don't care. And now Wemby's the first person who actually acts like he cares about basketball.
Yeah, and Wemby's the first one, and they finally managed to get a guy who is the one who you can replace, who you can give the face of the league title to, that is acceptable post LeBron. And he's actually performing like it. Like, Ben was the closest thing as a college prospect to Magic Johnson, and Zion was just an athletic titan. So both of their games would translate well, but they both were just never good enough for whatever reason. One's fat. Both had mental issues. One couldn't keep the donuts out of his mouth, and the other one refused to shoot. So Wemby is the first guy who has the mental and the physical tools package to really do that. But at the same time, they've also just been trying to demote him because, oh no, it's impossible for a 39-year-old to be as good as he is. So just by default, he's got to be worse than all the rest of these guys. When it's just like, when you actually watch it, he's not. Because
no,
he still passes. Oh no, carry on, I cut you off.
No, all I was going to say is if you take... I don't think we see a LeBron again. Because, like, in terms of what he's given to the game, like, the amount of games he's played, the amount of minutes he's played, the level he's played at, and it's got to the point where he's playing with his son in the playoffs, and he's still at 41, one of the best players in the league, and carrying... This, I think people are forgetting as well, this Lakers-Rockets series, the odds were so stacked against them that I think it was the third, like, in terms of betting odds.
They were the third biggest underdog ever.
Third biggest underdog ever. And it's 3-0. They're probably going to sweep them. I think they do because the Rockets are just going to give up at this point.
Reeves is back tonight, and I'm hoping that he gives just a bit of juice so LeBron doesn't have to exert as much energy. And so I'm hoping that they get it done tonight, because then they get a week off as well.
Yeah, going back to that, I think Wemby has the talent to do something like that, but we're going to get onto this later, but I don't think he can have the longevity.
Yeah, I think like guys that big and that long and that weird in their body composition, it's just unlikely that they manage to pull on.
Yeah, agreed. The other thing I was going to bring up before we move on, something crazy. So, do you remember when LeBron last played the Rockets, if I'm correct?
Of course I do. It was the Westbrook series where they would treat him like he's a leper.
The Westbrook Harden series, where LeBron basically broke that up. Harden had to leave Houston, forced Harden out, and Houston were like, damn, we're going to have to rebuild. Again, for that franchise, how demoralising is it? 6 years later, you come up against the same guy who's now 41, and he's
with your team finished in construction, by the way.
Oh yeah, you finish your rebuild, you're in win now mode, and then you come up against this guy who's still playing. He's 41, and he basically has the same averages as he did in that first series. And it's like, what do you do now as a franchise? Where do you go?
You know what the crazy thing is about that? Is that, like, LeBron was old then. Like, he was in his 17th year then.
Yeah.
And you look at the difference in the player he was then to now, like, LeBron was so much better then. Like, it was actually... Because I saw a clip of Game 3 from that series pop up on my feed the other day. I think it was... Might have been yesterday, actually. And I was like, he's not even close to what he used to be then, in terms of athletically. Like, he just can't move the same. But he's still so much better than anyone on the Rockets. So, it's insane what he's managed to do. This is one of his... I don't think it's one of his absolute best accomplishments, just because he's got so many to go down in his career. But it's one of the most impressive, because no one really had this. I saw Mark Spears from ESPN pick the Lakers in 7.
Yeah.
But you know those folds where it's like Lakers in 6 or Rockets? Like, only Mark Spears picked it. Every other person in the media, Nick Wright, who's the biggest LeBron fan...
He picks the Lakers every year.
Yeah. I don't know what... Nick, if Luka and Reeves weren't hurt, Nick would have picked the Lakers again. Like, I don't know what Shannon Sharp said, but I imagine Shannon's sensible enough, and he's not with Skip Bayless anymore, that he wouldn't just say LeBron for the sake of it. So, yeah.
So, I think goalposts are moved a lot in sports media. You have to hold a guy to the same standard you set for them. And the standard set for LeBron this series is you're going to be either swept or losing 5. And they're probably going to sweep Houston or win in 5. And he's had no help apart from role players. So you have to hold him to that standard you set for him. You can't, like, in terms of accomplishments, is this the biggest upset apart from the Warriors 3-1 down? Yeah. I mean, there are other, obviously, bigger, higher leverage moments, but if you're just taking a playoff series regardless of how big the moment is, then it's one of the top accomplishments of his career, considering age and everything.
Yeah. No, it's... I mean, what he can do is crazy. Like, I would like him to be in just a... Wherever he goes next year, we'll go on Houston briefly in a minute, but this is the last thing I'm saying. Wherever he goes next year, unless he stays with the Lakers, I do want him to have the ball in his hands. Now, I don't want him to just be a short roll cut man who defends a lot. I would like him to have the ball in his hands and he's with a proper scorer. Yeah. Because his mind is too good and he still is an all-NBA level player. He's not all-NBA first team, he's just not. Like, through the playoffs so far, he's been one of the... Whatever it is. Like, you can argue he's been the best. I think Shea probably to this point has been. But you can argue him as one of the top 2 or 3 or first best player. Like, you can argue that. And you have a strong argument too, because of what he's doing on both ends and controlling pace and whatnot. But you can't do that for a whole season, fine. But he clearly still is an all-NBA level player. And that's inarguable. So, where do the Rockets go from here? Because they finished their rebuild. They got all their young players. They added the cherry on the top in the form of an all-NBA level player. And
the problem with the Rockets is, and I wanted to scream at Udoka for putting the ball in Durant's hands so much in Game 2. And Wild said this on First Things First. You were the one who started double-teaming Durant when you swept them, when you were the Celtics coach and you had Marcus Smart.
Yep.
So, you should know that's not a good idea. But I've actually, after Game 3, I've started to think more along the lines of, who else is he going to give the ball to? Who else on that team do you trust with the ball? Like, this is why they need to bring... I get the positions have kind of been like, lines have been blurred, right, positionally in the NBA for a long time. But you can't just get rid of the point guard position. You need someone who is competent and can initiate offense and know how to carry the ball late in game. You can't just put a bunch of athletic freaks out there who have zero basketball brain cells or IQ and expect them to win a late playoff game where the game's tight. Like, even Reed Shepherd is their most, he's a short guy. He is not a point guard. He can only shoot. We saw that late in the game when LeBron got the steal off him.
He had urine running down his leg, man.
Yeah, him, Jabari Smith, like, there is no one in front of you. No one is pressing you. Amen Thompson is stood on the side of the court. Why are you throwing him the ball? Like, the Rockets did blow that game because Şengün actually played well. They should have won that game.
That was a sneaky big game because
Yeah.
if it's only 2-1 and LeBron's exerted all that energy and you only have 1 day's rest going into game 4.
Because LeBron played what, like 45 minutes?
He played... so at that point it was 40 minutes because obviously overtime is what...
Yeah, but in the end he played 45 minutes.
No, but I'm saying either way, like even 40 minutes, like this is the same amount of minutes that he was playing in non-finals games.
Yeah.
In his second stint with the Cavs, outside of the 18 run, where he would end up playing like 46 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Like that was a sneaky big game because LeBron on 1 day's rest wasn't going to be able to like that. Like the game tonight would be done. Like the Lakers would not win tonight if they lost that game. They might now just because the Rockets might quit. I don't think Durant's going to play tonight. I don't think he should. But like that game was huge because if it's 2-1, Durant probably does play. LeBron's exhausted. The Rockets probably blow the Lakers out. And now it's 2-2 back to...
Now it's 2-2 and it's a series again.
And you probably favour the...
I would still have the Lakers just because of how flawed the Rockets are. I just don't think this Rockets team could win a playoff series. Like, against anyone. And... like, I just think they were that bad. Like, how are the Rockets a higher seed than the Timberwolves? Like, I know the Timberwolves had their injuries this year. But that's a basketball team. This is not a basketball team. This is just a bunch of athletic freaks who don't know how to, like, just... They're just dumb. They're all thick as a plank of wood.
It's a really strange thing for them because I know Van Fleet was injured, but you have 9 months to figure that out. You have 9 months to get a point guard.
There's so many on the market.
I said as a gag to you, obviously, they should have got Ben Simmons. Like,
I can name so many guys. Dennis Schroeder went to the Cavs. Ayo Dosunmu scored 43 last night. Just get a point guard. It doesn't matter who it is. Just get a point guard. Like Jose Alvarado.
Bring CP off of waivers.
Yeah, CP. Heck, Ben Simmons. I don't want to go there. No.
Yes, I got you to say it. Ben Simmons. Listen, right? If they got
how am I this angry that I even said that? I didn't mean to say that.
Listen, no. So I said this in our WhatsApp, right? And Owen was like, "Do not go there." I was like, "Yes." And I made a tweet about it as well. He's 6'11", he can pass the ball, and he's got a top tier handle, right? He can dribble the ball like no one's business, but he won't shoot. But he'd pass Durant the ball on those burners, you know, who he was praising.
Durant said he actually likes him.
Ben Simmons and Jeff Green. He liked those two players. Listen, Jeff Green's a top tier role player. I don't know why you're laughing.
Yeah, no, I'm more laughing at Ben Simmons,
but no, they should have. They just needed one. I don't know what they do from here because Van Fleet. There's no guarantee that his ACL heals up properly and he's ready to play again because he's older and he's shorter.
And you're in win now mode. You need to get Giannis if you're going to do anything.
Yeah, and even then, right? How Şengün's tanked his value with this playoff series.
Yeah. I mean, he did play well in Game 3, admittedly.
He was good in Game 3, but you need that the entire series because you're against DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes. Those two guys made Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle look like Wilt Chamberlain and Moses Malone.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's unacceptable that he played this way, and he's just a bit soft, so I don't know. Like, they're going to have to give up more for Giannis than they would have had to 3-4 months ago, which is insane because Giannis' trade value on the market is going to be lower, but the value of these players they've got is also lower. So
I mean, it is Milwaukee who are in reset mode, so you'd think that they could put a package together for Milwaukee, but
yeah, they're in a really awkward spot now because they also did trade away Jalen Green, who was their initial young piece, so he's their big trade chip.
And he's actually turned out good on the Suns. Like, he can play.
Just briefly, we'll cover this and we'll move on to the next series that you want to talk about. You pick the series, but we can talk about all 8. It's fine. You just pick the order. What do you think? What do you think of the positionless thing working out? Because we saw last week with Kawhi and the Clippers, it didn't work. We've seen Devin Booker try to play point guard over the last few years. It doesn't work. And Devin Booker's actually probably a better passer than a lot of these guys who play the 2 guard, who handle the ball a lot. He's actually pretty good. We saw it in the Clippers series conference finals a bunch of years ago when they were in a position to win. Kevin Durant, we've seen it in this Lakers series. Like these guys who... What do you think of the assumption of your best player always needs to have the ball in his hands? As opposed to...
The take I'll have on that, it works in the regular season. You can win a bunch of games in the regular season. In playoff basketball, which is almost a different sport, because, you know, matchups is so big coming into it. Like, the T-Wolves were a 6th seed and they're making the Nuggets look silly. The Nuggets would have stormed the Rockets. They would have swept them. But it's all about matchups, and you need a point guard who is able to take advantage of what their defense is giving. And you look at the Timberwolves last night. It doesn't matter what kind of point guard it is. Mike Conley came in and gave them good minutes. If you get a veteran point guard, look what CP3 did on the Suns. Like, it does not work unless you have someone who knows how to take advantage of what you're giving them defensively, like LeBron with the Rockets. And I'm not talking about you need like a traditional, like a John Stockton type. It can be a LeBron. It can be someone who's 6. It can be a Cade Cunningham. You just need someone who can initiate some offense. So this is what I mean about... I don't mind positions being blurred lines, like with your bigger types like Penny Hardaway, Simmons, Cade, LeBron. Like, I'm happy with those bigger... I actually quite like those bigger players playing as point guards because they can see over the defence better. But I don't like them giving the ball to someone who's just a bucket getter, like a Devin Booker, like on the Rockets a Kevin Durant. That's not how they're built, and you can't survive without that in playoff basketball. We've seen that.
Yep, I agree with all of that, absolutely. Like, people think that because the game nowadays is basically positionless, you can do that. But the thing that everyone's missing with the three-point boom, with the length boom, with what we ended up having with small ball, is that the teams that brought that through, the Heat and the Warriors, and then, funnily enough, the Lakers and the Bucks, so obviously LeBron's involved intimately in all of those, is that the Heat had LeBron, who could run the offense late in the games, and they also had Wade, who could do it late in the games if they really need to, but most of the time it was LeBron down the stretch. Steph Curry wasn't playing point guard. He wasn't handling the ball all the time down the stretch. Sometimes Draymond would bring it up down the stretch. Sometimes it would be, Iguodala would sometimes bring the ball up down the stretch. Not a lot. It was mainly splitting duties between Steph and Dre. But most of the time it was guys bringing the ball up who have a real feel for it. But Steph wasn't the guy with the ball in his hands every single minute of every single game. And the other problem is that only really three guys have led teams on deep runs like that. LeBron, who won a title in 16, playing that way specifically, where he's got the ball in his hands doing everything. Harden did it in 2018, got to the conference finals. And Luka did it in 24 when he got to the finals. But the best teams, forget the Spurs in 2014 because they were sort of a unique thing. But the Warriors, they had a bunch of guys who could initiate. Livingston, you have Steph, you have Draymond. Iguodala can do it a little bit. You have a bunch of guys who can take... Leandro Barbosa could do it. You have a bunch of guys who can take the ball and get up the court with it and get you into your stuff. The Raptors, when they won the title, you have Lowry, you have Van Fleet. Because Kawhi wasn't running point for them at all. Kawhi wasn't handling the ball whatsoever. And then after that, obviously you have the Lakers with LeBron and Rondo, that's on crack. Like that was unfair. When I knew at the time it was unfair when in those playoff runs, people didn't really appreciate it. And then in 2021 with the Bucks, you have Drew Holiday and you have Middleton, and they had another guy who played point guard off the back as a backup off the bench. And then the Warriors again, same thing. You have Steph, you have Draymond, you have Jordan Poole. And then 2023 with the Nuggets, you have Jokic, you have Jamal Murray, and then that was about it, really, because those two just sort of split duties.
Yeah.
The point is that the only team that really didn't was the Celtics. But every single shot they take is a 3 or a layup. So
even then, Derek White
and Drew Holiday,
Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday. So even then, we had ball handlers.
Yeah.
And Tatum's basically a point forward.
Yeah, Tatum is Tatum is probably he might be the third best passer in the
Like
league.
Tatum is our he initiates our offense right now and our ball handling.
Like thinking like, are there any passes outside of LeBron and Jokic who are clearly better than Tatum? I don't like Luka,
Jokic, Cade.
Yeah, LeBron, Jokic, Luka. You can argue Cade. Like Tatum's one of the best passers in the league. He doesn't see them as well as some of the other guys, but he sees them to a well enough for this NBA and the way the Celtics play.
And I mean, when the Celtics play, you don't need a traditional point guard anyway.
Yeah, it's literally just, okay, take the first open look you have, and if someone's there, go to the rim and get to the rim and look to cycle it back out for a three. So yeah. Right, we spent half an hour now. We really need to move on.
I don't mind. I'll have to talk about as long as we need. I'm quite enjoying this.
No, so am I. It's just, yeah, we only covered one game and we have 7 series to do. So, I think the next series probably makes sense to do Nuggets Wolves, as you did mention it in that salvo that we were talking about.
Yes, let me abuse Jokic.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
He has been... Okay, this guy is a top 10... Like, if you look at his talent, he should end up, by the end of his career, as a top 10 player of all time. Arguably.
Minimum top 15.
Yeah. It's inexcusable. I went over this series. I haven't went back and looked at the first Wolves series they lost, but I know that he should have played better in that. And then even in Game 7 against OKC, Gordon was hurt, but you didn't give enough. And this year, it has been, he's put up no resistance. And I just, the main, I've enjoyed watching it for the storyline and the rivalry. Jaden McDaniels is living rent-free in not just the Nugget player's head, the Nuggets coach head, everybody's head. He comes out after Game 2, bear in mind, is 1-1. You do not have the upper hand in this series. And he just says straight up, he name-dropped every single Nuggets player and says they're bad at defense. Every single...
He's horrible at defense, and Aaron Gordon. He still
he even said Aaron Gordon, and he's quite a good defender.
He's rubbish as well. Forget him.
Regardless. And he just says it deadpan, and then they come out, obviously, and they just attack them, and it's just well, you're just standing on business at that point.
And they win both games. Comfortably.
And then last game... They've won the game and he breaks away and he just thinks, how can I really get in their head right now? And he just lays it up at the end of the game and then Jokic rushes him. It's you weren't rushing back on defense for 4 quarters, you bigger lump. Did you see his interview after the game, McDaniels?
No. I probably should have.
They asked him what did Jokic say to you, and he was like, I didn't really listen. I just saw someone big as hell running at me. But I mean, it's not just the fact that they're a bad matchup, because the main thing I'm seeing is you're basically eliminating their 2 biggest threats, which are obviously Jokic and Murray. You've got Rudy Gobert, who doesn't need to give anything on the offensive end. He can focus all of his effort on defense, which he's the best defender outside of Wembanyama in the league, the best big defender, or Chet, but he's top 3. And the problem with Wemby is when he's against Jokic, he's giving 100% on both ends of the floor, so he can't concentrate that effort on the defensive end. Rudy Gobert's a lot stronger as well, so obviously he's not a better defender than Wembanyama, who's more lengthy and affects the whole team more. But if you're just going one-on-one against a player like Jokic, who is big as hell, you need someone like Gobert who's just put him in a torture chamber. I have done some research on shooting percentages this series. Let me rattle them off to you. Jokic is shooting 39% from the field, 18% from 3. Murray is... Oh, I forgot to mention as well, McDaniels has just been guarding Murray all series as well and shutting him down.
They have a bunch of guys who can guard.
Yeah.
Well, because you have and you have McDaniels, and they have other guys you can stick on as well. And
Murray. Oh, by the way, Jokic was shooting nigh on 60%, and Gobert has brought him down to 40%, and 38% from 3 has gone down to 18%, and Murray is this series shooting 37%, 26%, and over the season he was shooting 48 and 43. So McDaniels and Gobert are just doing a job on them. And then, like they say, they're just like, right, we're going to lock you up. McDaniels and Gobert, we don't have to give much on the offensive side of the ball, but
Absolutely.
we're just gonna clamp you, and then as a team we're just gonna attack you because we believe you're bad defenders, which they clearly are. The Nuggets coach, he brings Bruce Brown and Spencer Jones into the lineup because he knows they're bad at defense, who aren't great defenders anyway.
Bruce Brown.
Who is?
He's a bit smaller, Bruce Brown.
They're tenacious, but they're small. Yeah. Spencer Jones, he played for 25 minutes. I mean, if you're playing him, how are you expecting to generate offense? Do you know what I mean?
The problem is that. So, I'll talk about Jokic first. So, I'll touch on Gobert first. So, Wemby is the best defender in the league, but he's too skinny right now. So, for these types of guys, let's say he were to play Embiid in a series. Let's say he were to play Jokic in a series. He's just too thin. I don't even think it's the effort thing. I just think that physically he's too skinny. Gobert, on the other hand, has put on a bunch of weight in the last few years.
He's cut.
Yeah, he used to be a stick figurine when he was first entered the league, and now he's a lot bigger. Because ultimately, Wemby has the same issue against these guys that Anthony Davis used to have. Which is just that, okay, you're long as anything and you're the best help defender in the league, but unfortunately, you're too skinny. Which is why the Lakers would always used to put Dwight on Jokic in that Nuggets series as opposed to having AD sticking, because AD couldn't do anything with him. Same problem that other teams have, such as the Spurs with Wemby. I think if you actually put Luke Cornett on him and then you have Wemby free roaming, that would actually be quite interesting.
So I was actually going to say, if they ended up playing the Nuggets, which I don't think will happen now, I would want them to play two bigs.
Yes, but we'll go on to the Spurs in a little while. I think we'll probably cover that next because Wemby's probably your guy in the West. And then, it's just the Nuggets' entire thing is that no one can deal with Jokic one-on-one. So there's always going to be help. So we're always going to have movement off of those help defenders so we can get free cutters and free shooters at all times. Unfortunately, Jokic is shooting, like you said, 40% on the series? 39%, I think you said. And
he's shooting, 39%.
You know when I knew they were in trouble? At the end of game 2, when Jokic kept shooting threes. Because his legs were just shot. From being attacked constantly by the Timberwolves offense and him having to deal one-on-one with the banging of Rudy Gobert. Because always, if you're dealing with this every single play, it's just exhausting. Like we've played, even just at the court, it's tiring when you're in the post every time.
Yeah.
So, Jokic's legs, they're gone. So all his chess master stuff, they're just out the window because if you can just leave Gobert one-on-one, these Nuggets players outside of Jamal Murray can't really cook one-on-one. And Jamal Murray doesn't really create separation. He just shoots ridiculously tough, in-your-face shots. No, you're not listening. So he's not someone who's going to always blow by someone or create separation to the point where he doesn't make tough shots a bit high. He doesn't make 8 out of 10 difficulty shots 6 out of 10 difficulty shots. He makes 9 out of 10 difficulty into 7 out of 10, which is still really, really hard. And it doesn't make it easy enough for him to get those shots up and off over the guys. He can create separation, but not to the same degree as the other elite scoring guards. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I'd put it more down to just so the playoffs is about matchups. Like we said, the Rockets had a higher seed than the Timberwolves in the regular season. But how many guys in the league, how many teams in the league can play Denver and say, right, we're going to play Jokic and Murray one-on-one the whole game. We're going to have McDaniels and Gobert guard them all game on the defensive end, shut them down so that we don't have to double. And then what do they do from there?
But that's the thing. But I don't think that they'd have the same success against someone who can create more separation with a better handle. Is the point I'm making?
Yeah.
But there's no one in the league who's more suited to dealing with Jokic outside of maybe Embiid, because Embiid just as fat as Jokic. So that would be an entertaining playoff series, but that'll never happen because I don't think either of those two.
Embiid is never.
I don't think either of those two are ever making it back to the
Embiid
finals.
will never make conference finals because of Jason Tatum, and that's the only reason he's never made it.
Because of the fatty. Because of the fact that James Harden decided to blow gaskets in Game 6 and 7 in 2024.
No, I'm talking about like the whole Tatum's whole career. How many times he's beaten Philly? Even when Embiid was up and coming, and they were like, "This is going to be the next big thing," and Tatum beat him every year.
Yeah, because it was so that first year it was Embiid and Simmons, and Tatum won. So I think it was 18, 20, 22, 23. Yeah, that's tough, man.
Can I also rattle off the fourth quarter stats for Jokic?
I feel like this is going to be even worse because his legs are going to be even more spent. Go ahead.
Fourth quarter, game 2, 1 of 7, 0 of 2.
And that one was a dunk.
Yeah, 0 free throws. And in that same game, Jamal Murray, 1 of 5, 0 of 2, 0 free throws. Game 4. Oh no, this was the whole game. 8 of 22, Jokic. 0 of 3. In game 3, Jokic was 7 of 26 and 2 of 10. Tour dates, man.
That's too many threes for a start, so you know his legs are gone.
Tour dates.
Yeah, that's awful. 8 of 24, August 24th and July 26th. Like, they're not good. That's not good, man. Like,
July 26th and 22nd of August.
Wait, yeah, August 20. Yeah, 8/22. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, they're in deep trouble. I mean, because Dante DiVincenzo has popped his Achilles and just has a bum knee. I think the Nuggets can take Game 5 and get it back for a Game 6, but I don't see them being able to push it past that.
No, because I mean, Ant has been not himself this whole series. It's not like he's been the one beating them.
Yeah, exactly. So they're in trouble, and Julius Randle in general he's not a liability in the playoffs anymore. Rudy is giving Jokic hell, so they are in trouble, and mentally the Wolves have got them as well. So on Jokic, because the last couple of years, 2026 they got blown out by 45 on their home. No, not on their home floor, but they got blown out by 45 in a Game 6 to go through to the conference finals, where they would have faced the Dallas Mavericks, and they lose in a Game 7 after blowing a 20-point lead. 2025, they are 2-1 up on their home floor in a Game 4 against the Thunder, and Jokic, from memory, is not very good down the stretch. They win Game 6, they lose Game 7 after Jokic was very good in the first half because Alex Caruso did a number on him. Now people are saying that this is his 2011 LeBron moment, which I disagree with, because that was LeBron. That wasn't the Mavericks figuring out something that no one else could do to LeBron. That was just LeBron having some sort of mental breakdown for some reason. That wasn't some sort of skill issue. Like the post, okay, would he have been better had he had a post-up game? Yes. I do not think that it would have made that much of a difference in the grand contest of the series. I am at 2% on my battery level. So I am going to continue talking with my camera off while I get hold of the charger. That's so the problem is that the Rockets. No, the problem is that Jokic. This is more akin to if Kawhi Leonard could actually shut down LeBron James. So, like, say in 2014, if Kawhi had just made LeBron shoot tour dates for the entire series and only averaged 15 points a game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Nuggets, that isn't what's happening. Jokic is playing with the same intensity. He just can't do anything with Rudy. So, they're in some trouble. Do you think the Wolves win Game 5?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the series is over, which is all I really care about. I think the biggest losers of this series are the Thunder.
Why is that?
Because I think without Ant at full health and without DiVincenzo, the Spurs are going to roll the Wolves. And so I think it's obviously going to be a Thunder-Spurs conference finals, which the league needs because that's been set up as the big rivalry this year. And so the league does need that, so that'll be good. But I also think the Thunder have been trying to duck the Spurs. And I just don't think they'll have anything for them.
You say they've been trying to duck. Expand. We need some beef.
Well, they've been trying to duck them. They deliberately threw a regular season game against the Nuggets so that they could get higher seeding. And how did that turn out?
The basketball gods do not like chicanery.
They don't. So I think Wemby, he might miss tonight because the Spurs got a game back. But I think he'll be back for Game 5 at the very least. And from there, you know, I think they roll the Wolves. I think they'll have him in 5 or 6. And then you've got a rested Wemby against the Thunder, and I think the Spurs just have the Thunder's number this year. So what we really need from a viewership, and I can go on my little side note now before we move on to the next series. What we really need for viewership this year, the two big things. It needs to be a Thunder Spurs conference finals. That just needs to happen. And then also a Knicks Celtics repeat with Tatum going back obviously against the Knicks after his ACL. No, his Achilles. That would just be great for viewership.
Yeah, it'd be a cool story.
And this whole this is the little side note I wanted to go on. NBA fans and media have been complaining all season about how the NBA's broke. We need an expansion team. Teams are tanking. We need this and that. Teams have been tanking forever. Teams have been tanking since Embiid. Philly did it with Embiid.
It's never been this bad though.
No, but the only reason it's been this bad this year is because the draft's so deep.
Okay, fair.
And everyone's been complaining about it. How do we fix it? How do we this or that? You don't need to. This has been the most competitive first round of the playoffs we've seen since I started watching basketball in 2015. Like, the Magic are giving it to the Pistons, the Hawks are giving it to the Knicks. I saw something earlier. The last 27 playoff games played in the East. No. The last 27 playoff series in the East, 26 of them have either been a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. And this year, there's a lot of them that are going to go 6 or 7. So even a team like Celtics against 76ers, who I think the Celtics are going to do them, like, they still gave them a game and like they're still playing them hard.
That Game 3 could have easily gone the other way.
And even Game 3 was entertaining, and it took Tatum clutched late threes to put them away. So like, it's just fun watching good basketball in the first round, which we haven't been able to for a while. So I just think NBA, everyone just needs to stop complaining and looking for solutions and just... It's okay. The league is in like okay hands. It's good for viewership. Sorry to cut you off. All this nonsense about mathematics and how it's ruining the game, it also means that you can have teams like the Pacers last year or any team this year who can actually give teams a series and punch above their weight. Statistics can do that as well. So it brings its problems, yes, but I also do think that people just need to chill out on that front.
Good stuff. Like, I don't disagree with much of that. My problems with the league are more to do with style and the tanking. Like you said, tanking's always existed. Like you said, the Sixers, like the Cavs tanked for LeBron, and so did a few other teams. Like, it's not a new thing. Embiid and Simmons and Fultz, like, they didn't go to the Sixers because of magic lottery luck. They had the worst record in the league year after year after year after year. That's why they ended up there, because they could make those selections. You know, the Pelicans did tank for Zion, fine, but at the same time, there was a very rampant conspiracy theory at the time of that trade to do with Zion and the Pelicans and AD and the Lakers, and fine. See, it's not a new thing. I think, unfortunately, people just always naturally find things to complain about. My issue is a lot of the teams just play the same way, but come the playoffs, like, teams don't necessarily do as much of that. There are some distinctions, like the Wolves don't play like the Nuggets, and the Nuggets don't play like the Rockets, because the Rockets are crap.
The regular season has always been boring. Like, no one has ever wanted to tune in for the Brooklyn Nets.
It did used to be more fun when we first started watching, though, let's be honest.
Even then, I never wanted to tune in to watch the Nets play the Wizards. When I went to New York with school, I fell asleep watching the Knicks and the Wizards. So, like, that was a game no one wants to tune in for. So stop complaining about the disparity and just enjoy these playoff series, because that's the trade-off you get. You have a Premier League, yes, every game counts, everything is competitive all year, but you don't have elimination games like the Champions League. But football kind of has both. With basketball, they're just complaining because it's like, oh, we have these really tight elimination series, but we don't get that during the playoffs.
You mean the regular season?
The regular season, should I say.
I would like the... So my issue is more so that teams all play the same. If teams didn't all play the same, then it wouldn't lead to...
Keep talking, I'm just filling my drink.
That's fine, go ahead. So if teams didn't all play the same way, then it wouldn't cause the same problems that it would lead to everyone complaining about tanking and the regular season not being fun. Because then you get to watch you get to enjoy the teams because you get to see how the two teams match up at an individual level and how... So let's say if we take the 2016 season, so 10 years ago, you have the Cavs who play their high pick and roll, isolation heavy style basketball where LeBron's controlling every single thing and he's dumping it off to Kyrie to go crazy isolation work, and then Kevin Love gets to back down people in the post. But then you also get to go and watch the Celtics, and they put Isaiah Thomas in constant movement offense where he can put up high quantity volume of shots. And then say you want to go to the Raptors where you watch heavy, well, that's 2018 to be fair, so I won't use them as the example. But then you get to the Miami Heat where they play a deep, tough, grit and grind style of basketball, which is isolation heavy, and you have Bosh and D-Wade. And then if you go across to the West, you have Westbrook and Durant, where it's constant pick and rolls, constant mid-post isolations, constant Westbrook driving to the hoop. And you go to the Warriors, where it's constant ball movement and high volume of threes and high-level defense. And then you go to the Spurs, who are moving the ball a lot, but now they're moving into a more isolation style base with Kawhi Leonard. You don't get that same stuff here, which is the unfortunate thing, which is what I think a lot of the people feel is the issue. Because I feel like some of the issues that people have are that if you just stick on a random game, if it happened to be in black and white and the teams and players didn't have a name and number on it, you wouldn't be able to tell who's playing. But 10 years ago, you could to a certain degree because of the disparities in the way different people played. Whereas now, with everything being so math-based...
Yeah, it's more robotic.
It brings the pack closer together, but it also means that the teams are less distinguishable.
Yeah.
So I think the primary thing is you need to figure out how to make that different, and then everything else will sort of take care of it.
Would you agree it's more in the playoffs that kind of fades away in the playoffs as well?
It fades away some, but there are still some elements of it. So, like, say...
The Celtics?
Yeah, so, like... I mean, the Celtics are an extreme example, because they play like the 2018 Rockets. Except, they have zero mid-range shooters. Like, Chris Paul at least used to pop it.
Brown?
He doesn't shoot it as much as he probably could, right?
No, Brown gets most of his stuff in the mid-range.
I still think that there is a bit too much of a heavy bias towards that. But either way, right, the point is that they play like the 2018 Rockets. So theirs is a bit unique, but every other team, it's a bit hard to distinguish the difference, right? Say the Lakers with Luka. You can tell it's Luka because of the fact that he dribbles the ball a billion times every single time he has the ball. And then the Nuggets you can tell because of Jokic. The other teams isn't as clear, which is the problem. The Thunder you can only tell because they're always foul beaten. So, like, it's a bit of a difficult thing. But it does fade away somewhat, yes. And NBA playoff basketball is one of the two best products in sports year to year. So it's not necessarily that much of a problem.
I think the problem is more there was a crisis of someone who was going to be the face of the NBA. LeBron started declining, and then I think the problem was there were these like the best players in the league, like a Luka and a Jokic. You can't really brand as that because they don't care, and I think that's why people love Wemby so much.
I don't think either of them. I think "don't care" is the wrong phrase, and I know you're not saying they don't care about basketball. It's more
their attitude is what I mean. Like
they grind a lot, and their effort on the other end isn't as high as you'd expect from a superstar. I'm assuming that's what you get now.
And now you're getting a Wemby who is saying to the media, "I'm the MVP," and then they're all like, "Actually, you're right. You are the MVP."
I think Luka.
He cares.
I think Luka could have been if he kept the weight off.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, he did put the weight on. He did get injured a few times because, especially in 2022, when they lost to the conference finals to the Warriors, I think everyone was sort of ready to like okay, have a good year next year, and then we're ready to give you the throne. But after that, he wasn't really liked because the whining kicked up a level. He started playing a bit more of a style which had a bit less variation to it, and so people tend to like him a bit less. So that's sort of what happened. Now they got Wemby, so everything's okay. Right.
Quickly, before we go to the next series, do you think Jokic can lose his best player in the league status? Because you're more just like, I watch a player and they're the best, whereas I lean a bit more like, if you don't do it, then, those games do matter. It's not just on who you watch and is the best. Like, you do need to show up.
Well, no. So I watch the best and decide. I see a guy and he's the best. But the reason that he is the best is because there's no answer to him as the best.
Yes.
If there is an answer, which is regularly exposing you to a degree where you look like where you're performing as a totally different player, then the aesthetics part of it doesn't necessarily matter as much. Now, if he balls out in 5 and 6 in Game 7, but they happen to lose, it would be difficult because now you've lost in the second round, and then the first round, and the games have to matter. But
they have to.
If you squint, you can still give it to him. But if he stinks it up again, and Wemby leads the Spurs to the conference finals, and they don't lose, only Wemby can take it.
I think, obviously, considering Wemby's health, let's say he comes back and he's healthy for the whole playoffs.
It's a concussion. It's not going to impact the way that he...
No, but I mean he had stuff with his ribs and, let's say he does...
He'll be fine with those. Their ribs will heal up.
Yeah, but... So he's healthy for the rest of the playoffs. I think the Spurs win it this year. And I think this series, the Nuggets-Wolves one, has made me even more sure of that.
The Nuggets are the only team who I think can beat the Spurs, just because of matchups.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do have the Spurs winning it. And I did pick the Celtics in the finals. That was probably more heart over head. But I would still probably pick the Spurs.
Okay, next one, we're an hour and a half. So this is going to end up being a marathon one.
We don't have to cover all the smaller series. There's a lot of them which is just whatever.
Next one you mentioned that you wanted to cover was Knicks Hawks. So... go.
I think we can more just do quick resumes for these last ones because we've talked about the main juice.
I think two interesting ones were the ones that we talked about. So Knicks Hawks.
So Knicks Hawks. The main storyline from this one is, again, it's a matchup problem. You've got guys who can actually defend Brunson. You've got Dyson Daniels who can lock him up. Brunson's also shooting 41% from the field, so that'll do. The problem is Cat, right? He's the one player on the Knicks who you look at and you're like, this guy can expose the Hawks because they're just not big enough. They can deal with Brunson, that's fine. They have people who can lock him up and then they can attack him on the other end. But with Cat, they don't really have an answer for him. The thing is with Cat, he's not very reliable. He will give you a game where...
plays, he doesn't attack the same way that a guy who's 7 foot should attack.
Yeah, he'll give you a game like last game where he is and there's no answer for him. And he's shooting good, he's shooting 57% and 50% from free. But he's shooting 10 less shots than Brunson per game. And it's you are the guy who should be taking more shots this series. Because if you keep giving Brunson the ball that much, then McCollum's going to cook him. Which is what's been happening. So regardless of last night, because the Hawks shot terrible last night. They were shooting 40 and 20 last night. So let's just say that was a bad shooting night for the Hawks. If the Knicks don't start giving the ball, have Cat taking more shots than Brunson does, then I actually have the Hawks winning this.
I think that last night will be a turning point, and that they will look to feature Cat more heavily in the offense because
they have to.
Yeah, basically just because they have to. I don't. So there were two stances which I'm fairly stern on until proven otherwise, which is your point guard can't be small if he's your best player. Well, your best player can't be under 6'3".
Yeah,
and you can't have a significant weakness around the rim defensively. The Knicks have Cat, who I don't love, but he's fine. He's passable on that end sometimes. But the main thing is Brunson. Like, he's 6'1". Everyone loves him. Everyone loves him, and I understand. He's got a fun game. But he's not a natural distributor, and he is your best player, and he's tiny, and he can be taken advantage of defensively. Why did Steph Curry lose in the 2016 finals? People can say he's injured, he's this, he's that. The main reason is because the Cavs put him in pick and roll every single time and exhausted him. Simple. How did James Harden manage to get such success all the time? Because of the fact that, regardless of the playoff series, when he would end up playing well, like say Timberwolves in 2018, it was because he would pick on Mike Conley. Mike Conley's a good defender, but he would pick on whoever the team would end up going after. Because ultimately, size does matter when it comes to these guys at that position, even though people try and think it doesn't. And the ability to defend matters, and the ability to get your team into the offense matters. Which is why I don't like the primary ball handler always shooting the most shots either. So I think the Knicks will win this series. I think they'll win it in 6. I thought they'd win it in 5 beforehand.
I think it goes 7 either way. I think the Hawks get one.
But it goes 6, which means it can go to 7.
I actually think the Hawks have, because yes, Cat can do that, but we've said that in the past, and that takes him imposing himself. And we've seen it in the past where he imposes himself for 1 or 2 games in a series, and then he just goes missing.
Yep.
For a whole half. Like, the game before, he took 0 shots in the 4th quarter, I think.
I know. And in game 2, he wasn't very good either. He didn't shoot enough. No, what game did they lose? Game 1? Game 1.
I don't trust Cat I don't trust as much as you that Cat will actually impose himself as he should.
No, I don't necessarily think that he will impose himself. I think that they will look to feature him more. So at that point, he has no choice but to. So the ball is less in Jalen Brunson's hand, it's more in Cat's. Yeah, I lean the Knicks in that. I think I'll get it in the 6, but I can see Atlanta winning. Like, put it that way. 3 of the 4 games have been razor tight. So yeah, we'll see. Next one, we'll cover your team, Boston and Philly. What were your thoughts?
They had us in the first half. Like, I was actually kind of stressed in that. And then when Tatum hit the last 2 clutch threes, I was like, bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. I mean, listen, he's had a good series so far, you know? Like, he has been legitimately impressive. I mean, because you could very easily be 2-1 down right now. Like,
yes.
Big time.
Derek White needs to perform better offensively because that's been a general trend since All-Star break where he just hasn't shot as well. Which
hasn't this been his worst year offensively since he's joined?
Yeah, I mean, he still gives it on the other end, but it's like he was a 40+% 3-point shooter, and now he's down to 31% or something. So if you don't respect his shot as much as you did before, then
the 5 out
cause problems.
Driving lanes aren't there anymore, and now you can't generate the help as much. So,
but I still think the Celtics are stronger than any team in the East, even with that.
I agree. Tatum and Brown, they're still the 2 best players in the East. I can't think.
We also talking about New York. I know New York's team haven't changed, but Boston's team has changed a lot since last year. They're younger, more athletic. Got shooters everywhere. Cater, you got a bit of size. Like last year, Mitchell Robinson had himself a series.
Sorry, you remember that game we watched when I was in Spain and he put up like 25 in the first half?
Yeah, he just turned into Wilt Chamberlain. No, but he's a top 10 centre this year. Do you know what I mean?
He can finish. He's tall. He runs the rim. You know, that's good. That's what you need.
And he's good defensively. He's long. Good timing. Can move his feet. So like. It is a different Boston team, and there'll also be that element where it's like we need to get him back now that we've got Tatum, and there's that fairy tale side to it as well. So I don't think Philly. I think we finish them off in 5 or 6.
I think they'll get another game.
But it's quite good. Like I love Maxi and Edgecombe, and it is fun to watch like tense games. Like I don't want to just see blowouts.
Well, as a Boston fan, you do. As a neutral, you don't. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how many series we've done now? So So what we've done the Lakers, we've done the Nuggets, we've done the Knicks, and we've done the Celtics. So you like Cade? What's going on there? Why are they 2-1 down?
I mean, I don't actually like the Pistons. I've been saying
That's why I said you like Cade, not the Pistons.
yeah, Cade. I mean, he's good and he's been playing all right, but this is the problem we both had, and we kind of touched on this before the playoffs because Cade went down right, and the Pistons were still winning like most games. But it's like I said, the regular season and the playoffs is almost a different sport. Like, you need another shot creator in the playoffs. And they had what? Jenkins and some other dudes who were creating offense when Cade was out. They just can't get it done in the playoffs or play heavy minutes because of how liable they are defensively as well. So the Pistons can't play this tough defensive front that they want to put out there without compromising themselves offensively. And then the Magic are just a bad matchup for them because the Magic's starting lineup has more talent offensively, but they're also gritty. And so how Detroit's main edge was they out-physical people. Well, the Magic can do that to them as well. Also, a kind of funny part of this series is, you know Angel Reese, the WNBA player?
Yes, yeah.
So Jalen Duren was her ex, and now she's dating Wendell Carter.
Oh dear.
And obviously Jalen Duren is like an All-NBA player this year, second team All-NBA. He's being outplayed by her new man, Wendell Carter. Is just, he's good, he's solid, but he's not, and he's just being completely outplayed by him, which I found funny.
That is rather unfortunate. So you think the Pistons still win?
Before Game 3, I would have said yes, but I didn't watch the first two games, and I just watched Game 3, and the Magic are tough. That's a tough matchup. I think it goes 6 or 7, but I'll give it to the Pistons in 7, but it's a tough matchup, that's all I'll say.
That would be embarrassing. 1-8 loss? Oof, that's tough. Right, Cavs Raptors. Jim Harden showed up.
I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched one of the games. That series.
Jim Harden showed up and he turned the ball over and over again, and he does what Jim Harden does in the playoffs in a big spot. You have a chance to go 3-0 up, wrap up the series, and you decide to stink up the house again. He can't help himself. The goal on some people to think this year would be different. This is the time where Fatso will finally make his mark in the playoffs, right? Even though the poor guy, he's lost all his hair, and he's gained all the weight, and he's still a genius passer, but he has undergone a full physical transformation in terms of looks and physique since he entered the league. He's even changed his game in the how long has he been in the league now? What's this, 17 years since he's been in the league, and he still has the same goddamn issues that stinks up in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. He's a disgrace. He is a disgrace. They're going to win. I had Cavs in 6 and I still stand on that, but
I think I had that 7. I think they'll win.
But they're not doing anything. Fine, they play the Magic and they get to the conference finals. Boston or the Knicks, whoever gets there, are going to beat them.
They will dog walk them. So yeah, Scotty Barnes is good though. Right, next series, Spurs against the Blazers.
Yeah, so this one obviously 1-1 and everyone was like, I think the Blazers are going to give it to them. And they were in Game 3, but Dylan Harper just came off the bench and single-handedly dragged them back into the game. And
that was big, that was.
And Castle. Steph Castle and Dylan Harper.
I mean, you won by 12.
If Wemby does win his first ring, I still think the Spurs would have won the series even if they lost that game. But for a young playoff team, you don't want them to get rattled. And so for a rookie to come off the bench like Harper and this comes back to the positional basketball thing. You have Wemby out, your best player, but the Spurs have, albeit young guys, Castle and Harper, they're guys who can control tempo, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest thing on playoff time.
So they're going to be fine. They're winning 5 or 6. Wemby, I don't know if he's back tonight. Have we heard about that or not?
Let me look. I can't imagine he'll be back tonight.
They should sit him. If they'd have lost that game, maybe not, but...
Well, it's a concussion, isn't it? So it's a bit difficult. I understand it's not the NFL and their processes are a bit different, but still. I don't think he'll play tonight. I think it's 2-1. You got the game.
He's questionable.
Yeah, that's what I just saw. So you've got home court back. It's two, like regardless of what happens tonight, you've got home court back. You trust Wemby to be able to win. You trust having Wemby is enough to get you the series in 6 or 7 games. Okay, it's not ideal. You will have to play whoever comes out of the Nuggets and Wolves with less rest than you probably anticipate, because they would have won in 4 or 5 if Wemby was available. But you win that series, you get through, just get into the next round. You avoid a scare with Wemby. Yeah, scary fall. He was snoring.
Yeah, the video, he went from like screaming in pain to just snoozing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he's all right and he's ready to go again.
Did you see a video of him trash talking the Blazers during the last game, saying, "If I was there, you'd be losing 4-0." He just does not care.
No, he's great. I love the personality. I just like that style. Like that personality is fun and it brings attention. And good or bad, it brings traction to the league. So
yeah,
it's good. Right, final series, and then we can wrap this up. No, we'll do Champions League picks ever so quickly after this one. But I think we're only going to be about 30 seconds on this Thunder Suns.
I don't have anything to say.
Neither do I. I think it's about what both of us expected. I think, you can see the Suns maybe grabbing a game in a close fashion. Like, that game was close last night. You could maybe see them stealing it. But, it's... The Thunder were always in control. Shea is as efficient as you can be. He is, he's one of the best scorers that we've seen. I still hate the way he plays, but, if it works, it works. And
it's a good thing they're going to get beaten by the Spurs, and he won't be the best in the world.
Oh, I will be wearing something black and white. My shorts are black. My shorts are black, and I have plenty of white t-shirts. Yes, that will be my kit for those games. Right? I cannot have a player like that who violates the ethical laws of basketball.
It's disgusting to watch.
Should not be getting back
Chet Holmgren is even worse because Shea has infected the other players on his team and they flop as bad as he does.
Yeah, I hate the way they play.
I don't know why the refs give them that whistle.
I hate the fact that, like you said, the refs give them a certain whistle. And, I just don't like this team as a whole. And the thing is, the thing that irritates me about them is that the fact that they think that, oh no, every team just cries because they're not as good, and that's why they blame the refs. It's like, no one cried about the Warriors being better than everyone else when they were shooting everyone's brains out. It's because you're not an enjoyable start, and there is clear some sort of weird thing going on between you guys and the refs. Because you foul on every play, and you just gamble that the refs aren't going to call it every single play.
It's also the fact it's not just the fans on Twitter, or X, or whatever, it's the coaches and the players who are just sitting there like, this is outrageous.
Exactly. The way the players talk about Jokic when he drops 30, 10, and 15 on them and makes them feel stupid is very different to the way that they talk about OKC and the Thunder.
And it's not just one team. It's Mike Brown came out and said it in a press conference after the Knicks game. Devin Booker came out and said it. You've had plenty of coaches. Jaylen Brown hates the way they're officiated.
Yeah. So for the good of the game, Wemby needs to get to the finals, or just not the Thunder. That's what needs to happen.
I think if I did believe in fixing or refs fixing games, which I'm not sure I do, but if I did, I would believe that the Spurs and the Thunder are getting a special whistle this year.
Look, of all the teams that you're going to rig something for, you're not going to. Why would you rig it for the Oklahoma City Thunder? It just doesn't make sense. Right, Champions League picks. What you got? And then we'll wrap this up.
I've got Bayern winning it.
Okay.
I've got Bayern beating PSG. Are they home leg first leg?
I'm pretty sure PSG are home first leg. Let me look.
Let's give that 1-1 for the first leg. And then Arsenal Atletico.
So PSG are at home first leg. Atletico are at home first leg.
I'm going 1-0 Atletico in that.
I think that home leg is going to be a draw. Atletico win in London. I think PSG go back to the final. I think PSG go back to back. Which is really no good for me.
That would be terrible for your agenda.
Awful. Absolutely awful. That turtle is so useless. I cannot stand him sometimes. These 2 years have been the worst experience in my life as a football fan. Even worse than when David Moyes was in charge of United. It's absolutely awful. But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I win either way because, well, as long as Arsenal don't win, that would be a travesty.
I need Atleti to. I need Atleti to win.
Yes.
I almost as much as I need. But okay, I can't have Arsenal win because I've been saying for years that Arteta will not win a league or Champions League until he changes his ways, and I can't have Bayern win because of Harry Kane, and I don't want PSG to win really because even though I like the way they play, Turtle Boy has left them and they went back to back. And before he was there, and when he was there, Madrid won 2 in 3.
I don't get your Kane agenda.
I just don't like him. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's that good.
No, I think he's a machine. I think it would be quite funny because I hate Spurs more than I hate Kane. And my year would just be made if Arsenal bottle the league and Spurs are relegated. Just forget all of the Liverpool pain this season. My year would be made.
What's your beef with Spurs?
Everyone hates Spurs. There doesn't have to be a beef with them. I just want to see them relegated.
I don't hate Spurs.
You're the minority. I
just
say that.
I just view them as like a flea or a fly.
They're just stuck in your teeth. It's like
just swat out the way. Yeah, it's like when you have a piece of lamb just stuck in between your teeth. It's like, oh, that's annoying. Like, check it out. It doesn't cause me any grief. I don't know people hate Spurs.
I'm more invested in Arsenal bottling it, but that would just be the cherry on top.
Yeah, the only way that this year could be made better is if Atleti win the Champions League and City win the Premier League. That would save my football viewing experience because Turtle Boy has been useless the last 2 years.
We would have a field day.
Oh, it'd be so much fun. We would have to pause talking about the playoffs for an episode regardless of where it is. We'd have to record a separate playoff episode which we would release later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, we'll wrap this up. If you've stayed this long, we very much appreciate it because we've been prattling on for 97 minutes by the time I end this sentence, most likely. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want, and you can send this to anyone who you think would like or hate our takes. I imagine that there will be a lot more who dislike us because we're especially the Arsenal fans. But, yeah, we will talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.